It's Linda MacPhee's workshop. Here's Linda.
Hi, and when you hear that music, you know it's time to sit down and let me do all the work, because my job, I think, is to get you excited about sewing. I love sewing, and I often find people who are as crazy about sewing as I am. Like, I like quick and easy. I like boots. I like shoes. Guess who I found? It's Barb Thom, and I've known you for a long time. And Barb, you have your own school, don't you?
Yes, I do. We have a sewing school in Hinton.
And you teach adults and kids, mostly kids.
Mostly kids, lots of adults, all kinds of classes.
Okay, and I mentioned that I was interested in the boot cover thing, and when I was talking to Barb, she says, let's
do it.
Yeah, and you said...
And it just went wild. Yeah, we had all kinds of people do all kinds of them.
And you've had some of your students do
Yes,
some
we
of these?
have.
Yes.
Yeah, kids ones. And
Okay.
Show you.
I think we're on the same wavelength, so let's show you what they look like. I know you're Barb here. So, I mean, we're not talking sort of utility boots here. We're talking class.
These are classy. These are high-end. They're done out of velvet, stretch velvet. They're a sleeve that goes on your fitted boot. We've done some embroidery, some fringe beading, and they're very classy.
Very classy, and very simple.
Yes,
I mean, the whole object
simple
of this game is to let's make it fast and fun. Those are fast and fun. Get your embroidery going on your machine. That looks great. Thank you, Kathleen. Yes.
And we'll show you some others. We have...
I mean, once you got that machine torqued up.
We have embroidery.
Yeah.
And that adds color and all kinds of style.
And again, just a cuff. So you just measure your circumference, and this is stretch, so you'll just pull it down over.
Yeah, just a sleeve.
Yeah, well, in fact, speaking of sleeve, that last guest that we had on our earlier segment, it was on the first series, she took coat sleeves and put them over, it was for a coat, an old fur coat. And put them...
Well, creativity here.
Yeah. For sure, yeah.
We've taken an older pair of boots, we've added some fringe to the top, and as simple as that.
And then that still works, beautiful.
You could put the fringe on the bottom.
Sure.
Also, we have a lady, Deanna Ellis, a friend of mine, has done some up with leather. There's the old
spats.
Old spats, yeah.
And they come down over here.
Velcro on the bottom, pull them off, and it's a go.
Yes.
And they're washable leather.
Well, we don't really need to worry about practicality. I mean, some of these boots are not made for shoveling snow. They're made for classy. They're made for walking. They're made for...
This one is on a riding boot, and this is practical, actually.
Yes.
She's putting her spurs on the leather, saving the boot. So
that would go right on there, and that would protect that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And these actually function with the laces and everything?
That's right. More embroidery, the natural cut of the leather.
So, I mean, this could add extra warmth and everything like that, too.
It could.
So, because a lot of boots are not all that warm, but they look good, and, you know, we got to do what we got to do.
Then we've taken a high-end boot and made it a little more casual with leather.
So, to do this, you would lay it down,
draw around
a pattern.
it.
Yeah.
And this one is Velcroed, so you can make every color for your boot. So you can change colors with your skirt.
Oh, this is going to be confusing in this video, but I love everything matching everything, so you could just imagine the possibilities with this.
It's lovely.
Yes.
Then we took it to the kids, because, of course, we teach a lot of kids, and they are always wanting to do something different. So we've done embroidery, we've done glitter, we've done beading on the top.
Show them how to put a zipper in. That's okay
right.
too. So
zipper, closure, that works.
And of course, this could be a bright, wild zipper.
It
or
could.
a zipper of both colors. I like doing that too.
Yes.
Yeah. Super.
We've done more denim with fringe.
Yes. What little kid wouldn't love that?
So this year in sewing school, they're going to design their own.
We're creating monsters on our children, but they need to know about fashion and fun.
We've used Sherpa. We've used embroidery on Sherpa. Just tucked it under. Very, very simple. We've put a zipper in the back. You could Velcro it together.
Yeah, or it could be the zipper in the front if you want, or whatever. I mean, this is sort of look like the mucklucks, and I have been long a fan of mucklucks and made many mucklucks. So this is great, and of course it would add to the warmth.
That's right.
I mean, that's not all bad.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got some boots, we've got more things. Let's bring on our model, because there's hats and mitts and slippers, and there's all that kind of stuff that you can do. So here we go. We've got the Sherpa, and this isn't the real Sherpa. Remember, this is the look-alike Sherpa. It's suede on one side with the faux fur on the other side. So it works beautifully. Again, a scarf just out of pieces. Neat. I'll show you how to do this hat. It is instant. So maybe, I'll just pull this hat out here, okay, and put this one on, because this is the Sherpa. I mean, that is a really fun look. And Barb, this is one of the scarves.
This is one of the scarves we do, the chenille scarf.
Scarf off, and we'll put this scarf on, because that is so cuddly and so fun. So yeah, the possibilities. And these are quick and fast. I promise they're quick and fast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shall I just... Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you just dropped that one. Shall I just quickly show you this hat
Okay.
before we get on to that, because this hat is just instant. So this is the measurement of your head, because there's stretch in this, so that's okay.
Okay.
This is about 10 inches, but it doesn't really matter. You can put some kind of an applique. It would go right in the middle.
Or embroidery.
Or
You
embroidery.
can embroider.
Yes, whatever you want. Sew it up like that. You would just hem the bottom. So I've got that done. So that is hemmed. Then we're going to sew across the top. I should say that's the finished one. So here is the top. So there's my seam, like I had. That's what it looked like. I've got it hemmed. I've got the applique on there. Then we're just going to take a poke there and a poke there. And it
So if
doesn't
you
really
wanted
matter.
it smaller at the top, you
Yeah.
could pull it in more.
And you're going to sew across the top.
Mhm.
And once you sew across the top, there it is. And you get that funny little thing at the top. So that's it.
Wonderful.
But let's do your scarf, because that scarf is fun.
We did tons of chenille scarves in our classes this year.
You said
Everybody
everybody
loved
in your
them.
town has got one for
Oh,
Christmas,
one
for
for
sure.
Christmas,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
That came from that
I think
fabric.
the interesting part is that it's chenille both sides.
It is.
That's what gives it this cuddly, you sort of think, oh yeah, I like the feel of that. So you need a fabric that is flannel both sides. It's brushed flannel.
Brushed flannel both sides. The color is the same on both sides.
Okay.
That's
yeah, so
very,
it's-
very important.
Yeah, it's not a stamped one. It's woven right in, and it's good quality on both
Yes.
sides. Yeah. Okay.
There's another brighter color.
Yeah, they
Now,
look so different when they're made up. Yeah.
It brings out the color in the fabric
Yes.
by chenilling.
Yes.
I'll show you how
Do
to.
you always use the same layers, or you could start doing different layers, I suppose, too?
You could do different layers. It would give you a different look,
Yeah.
different colors
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it this way first. We've got to
Okay,
start somewhere.
I'm going to show you how to fold it. So you take
How much fabric does it take?
a meter
to make
and a
this
half.
work? Meter and a half. Of 45-inch wide?
of 60-inch wide
60 inch
fabric.
wide, okay.
Yeah. So you fold it on the bias. So
Yeah.
you fold cut edge to salvaged edge, then fold it again for
Okay.
ease of cutting. So you're going to
Okay.
fold it again, lay it nice and
Basically,
flat.
that is the whole principle of chenille, is that we've got to have a 45-degree angle so that it doesn't fray all over the place. It just kind of fluffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you're going to cut this way. You're going to cut your strips this way, however wide you want them.
Okay, so you've got this about, how about that
That's
much?
8 inches.
Yeah.
You can make, a lot of them were making 6 inches. You can, this first cut is going to be your middle layer in your scarf.
Because it's solid. I think that's what you're
That's
saying. Because
right.
we can use all these ends and bits. And
Yeah.
so there's no waste on this end.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so keep that first cut for your middle layer. You're going
Okay.
to do 5 layers
Okay.
of flannel.
They all would come out to be about this length, or
This
that-
is short.
Okay, so there's longer ones than you can come out. So with 60-inch wide fabric.
This is the long one,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. Okay.
So you get all your pieces cut. Keep your longest for your center. And then you're going to piece these ones that are too short.
And when you say piece, you don't really mean piece, do you? You mean just lay them.
You can
Like,
lay
they
them.
don't really need to.
You can
be
lay
sewn.
them together and or sew them,
Yeah,
whichever
yeah.
you like.
But I mean, you don't have to sew that to that, because you're going to sew this
That's
whole
right.
thing, and it's going to get secured.
That's
So to me, I wouldn't bother even sewing that. Did you secure these together in any way? Did you?
Yes, we did. Instead of pinning, we wanted to be quicker, so we spray glued them
Okay.
together.
But even with the flannel, it would almost kind of stick to
It
itself.
does,
so
yeah,
that's
it
not
does.
all
If
bad.
you used a walking foot on your
Yeah,
machine,
sure,
you
sure.
wouldn't have to do anything.
And you're saying about half an inch apart?
Half an inch apart.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
you've got one done. haven't
I
you?
do, yeah. This is how it looks when you have it all sewn.
Okay, so let's just review again how many layers. You've got a center core, and then you've got 2 layers on each side
That's
of that.
right.
So it's 5 layers.
And then you're sewing lines half an inch apart.
Great.
You get all that done, then you're going to cut.
Okay.
So you're going to cut the first 2 layers on the top
I
side.
love cutting the chenille with the electric scissors. You go in there.
That works really fast.
It's fast. It's
Really
fun.
fast.
Yeah. So you'll cut one side.
Cut one side, turn it over, and then cut 2
Cut-
layers on
cut
this
the
side.
other side. So
do not cut your center
Yes,
layer.
do not cut your center layer, or you've got yourself a whole bunch of fringe.
That's right.
So you'll go in the middle and cut that whole
And
thing.
trim up your edges, and you're okay.
So how do you get the fringe on this?
You cut right through as long as you want the fringe.
Okay, so I could just go like this.
You could. And
So
that's going
there's
to be
my
your fringe. And then you're going to put it in your washer and wash it really well. To make it soft, put in some fabric softener.
Sure.
And it'll end
And
up
the more
really
you
nice.
wash it, the more...
The softer it
Yeah,
gets.
yeah.
And that's what you end up with.
Oh, that is
Beautiful
wonderful,
chenille scarf.
Fun, fast chenille scarf. Okay, let us do some mitts to match, and let us do some slippers. This is one of my favorite slippers. And again, it's with that Sherpa. It's not the real Sherpa, but it could be the real sheepskin if you wanted. It's one piece, so that kind of tickles me. So this is the size of your foot, whatever the footprint is. In fact, we could actually make an extra sole with a piece of leather on there so it's not quite so slippery. I would probably put the leather suede side up so it doesn't...
Or a gripper.
Or a grip, something like that. So stitch that on. Then we're going to... You look at this, this is going to go together like that. So we're going to sew that front seam, and there's a little line on your pattern about how far. You would also sew it down the center of the back. And I think I do have one here, because the front, we wanted to actually, it looked a little messy with it all sticking out there. So we actually turned it and sewed across there and across there, just inside out.
Right.
Then when I pull that whole thing out, you can see I've got the sole on the bottom, I've got my cuff that sort of tucks down, and I've got the cuddliest, coziest little slipper going. So, mitts, we could do the same thing with mitts. And if you look at this, I love a mitt that's quick. So here's 3 pieces. A thumb, a palm, and an outer. So this is cut like this. This will just sit onto there like that. It's not rocket science, this stuff. You could zigzag. I find a zigzag is one of the best ways to do that. You could sew it right sides together and flip it, but if you zigzag, you're going to hit something on the other side.
Right.
If you straight stitch, you might miss. So zigzag on that, and then put this on there, and I'd start there and go down, there and go down. Then this, of course, will flip up. And where's our mitt? Here's our mitt. So that's what it looks like.
Wonderful.
So we get you all excited about all the stuff.
I
the
guess
boots.
so.
Oh, those boots. I'm going to have to do some boots. But we've got to go because we've got more stuff coming.
Okay.
So thanks so much.
Thank you, Linda.
I just love doing what I do because when I get you excited about sewing, I get so excited about sewing. And this whole thing is about different people that sew and different ways you can use your sewing machine. I was on a program the other day. I was asked to be the guest, the sewing guest on Help TV. And the person that interviewed me was Duane. And when I realized he knows more about sewing than, well, certainly more about this kind of sewing than I do, I was just, thank you.
Oh, no, it was good. It's good. It's good fun that I can get to be on your show now, too.
Yeah.
It was a past career of mine to actually be a saddle maker. And what I'm doing here is stitching the knee pad onto a flap of an English saddle using a 2-needle stitch. Now, the interesting thing about the 2-needle stitch, and you use an awl when you're stitching with leather all the time because it's necessary to punch a hole. Of course, there's sewing machines now that'll do it as well.
Yes, of course.
But a lot, still in the fact that you have sewing machines, there's still a lot of work that needs to be stitched by hands on a saddle.
Sure.
So what we're doing here is with 2 needles, one on each side, one piece of thread, you'll use an awl, punch a hole, you'll come through one side, pull it through, but one of the tricks is, as you go back through with your second needle, you have to haul that thread back with you so you don't end up actually puncturing the thread with your needle.
Yeah.
What you do next, and what this is the part that simulates
the
sewing machine, is wrapping around the thread around the second needle that goes through. Then you pull your stitch tight.
And it locks it.
It's a lock stitch, just like a sewing machine.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. And that'll help prevent, if one of these stitches happens to break, it's not going to unravel your whole piece of work.
Well, I think this, so often sewing and men is sissified and whatever.
Right, yeah.
This is some of the stuff that you brought. This is where you began, isn't it?
Right. Well, in home ec and junior high, grade 7 or 8 or something, you have these different projects to make. I'd like to point out, we actually had to put a zipper in this.
Very well done.
Much.
Yes. Oh, yes. I hope you got a good mark for this.
I did, actually. All the corners match up very nicely.
Yes.
But a lot of the guys didn't like. You spend half the year in home ec, half the year in shop, and the guys don't like to go to home ec. And in fact, they don't even like to do well at it, I think, because in front of their friends,
yes,
it
makes you look so sissy. Right. But there's nothing sissy about a sewing machine.
It's a machine that helps you make things.
It's like
just like a lathe in woodworking or any other machine that allows you to manufacture something. That's all a sewing machine is.
Exactly. So all those guys out there have got to get sewing. I mean,
absolutely.
It's
the skills that I picked up here ended up in a career for a short period of time for me. About 7 years, I made a living as a saddle maker. Great. And even still today, it allows me to make things like a cover for the cushion for my dog. He always sits on the same part of the couch. So I made this little quick and dirty little cushion cover.
Let's show you what else happens to this.
Well, it's kind of difficult to see that this is actually a saddle at this point. Yeah. But this is a flap, and of course the flap goes down one side, and actually that's where your knee is going to sit. If you can imagine that at this point. So of course you need 2 of them.
2 of those, yeah.
You're going to need The core of any saddle, whether it be an English or a Western saddle, we're talking about English saddles now, they're slightly different in how they're made and how they're constructed and the things that are involved in them. This is a saddle tree.
Okay.
This is at the core, this is the seat, and this is where you'll attach everything.
Okay.
This is the seat that will now be stretched over top.
Okay.
And when you're actually fitting this seat, it's important. You can see how it's all been tacked down here.
Yeah, yeah.
What you'll do is you'll make this soaking wet. And then you'll stretch it out, and then it'll custom fit it to the seat. And then after it's had a chance to dry, that's when you take it off and you can trim it. You can actually stitch in your welting here. There's a welting.
And I see different thicknesses of leather.
Different types of leather, right? Because this will allow you, there's actually a special plier with a fulcrum that allows you to
I like your sewing kit. This is your sewing kit. Yes,
absolutely.
This is wonderful.
It's no different. I mean, you have a sewing kit, and so do I.
Sure.
So the rest of the pieces, if you can imagine, this piece here is now going to be stuffed, actually. One of the nice things about an English saddle is that you can custom fit it to the horse.
Okay.
And by doing that, you can use wool, and you'll use little tools like this, and there's slits cut in here, and you can actually take the wool and shove it in there. And then this becomes a custom-fitted pocket of wool to help you fit it to the horse's back.
Okay.
Next, when that's all done, you'll stitch that on there.
It's looking more like a saddle.
Starting to look like a saddle now.
Yes, it is.
And then your flap that we were stitching on the stitching horse.
Okay, let's cheat and do the finished.
Let's cheat and do through the magic of television. We can bring out the final product, the English saddle.
Lovely, beautifully
and there's the flaps, and of course we didn't talk about it yet, but here is the straps that actually attach onto
and this
the
goes
girth.
with this thing.
And that's the girth, and that sits around the bottom of the horse.
Right.
And attaches the saddle onto it, just like that.
Yeah. Oh, this is amazing. This is just delightful. And thank you so much for coming on my show. You wanted me to show you how to sew on a button. You can do more than sew on buttons.
Well, we need to show everybody all aspects of sewing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whether you're beginner or expert.
This is a great aspect, and it's been a great career for you, and now you're on to television and more things.
Absolutely, but I'm still sewing.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Well, you're very welcome.
You know that I love sewing, and I love everything to do with goofy kind of sewing, things that are not normal. So that's why I've got Ron. You knew I was going to go there.
No, yeah, well, we're good friends. You can say anything.
So, Ron, you run around the country teaching classes, and they're not goofy classes. You teach very tailored, very classic. I mean, you do the jeans, you do the jackets. Lovely things.
Thank you.
But there's a goofy side to you, too.
Yes, there is.
Yes.
And you have a big goofy side, and I want to see it here again.
You like my placemats?
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of like this black and white whole thing. So, but I looked at these placemats and I said, I think we could make something out of these placemats.
What a good idea, because often you stain one, and what are you going to do with the rest of the set?
Yeah, exactly. So let's show you a model. We have a model. Okay.
Let's see it.
Come on in. So I've coined this my placemat vest. Get it? Get it?
Look at this.
So if you see, let's have a look at that side. There. You see this? Here is the placemat.
Isn't that? You just don't stop, Linda.
And this flips back. And then we're going to have to cut off. So if we take your arm out of there, you're going to cut off that corner.
I see.
And now we've got...
And you get this frayed, fringy look,
it's already,
which I love too, you know.
It's there. It's right there. Okay, should we take this one off? Can I take this one off you? Because we'll do that one in a minute. We'll surprise him with that one. Okay, so we'll do this one first, and then we'll get you back. How's that? All right, so if you have a look at this, really this is the whole principle of this. This is now going to be, this is going to be your bottom point, this is going to be your shoulder point, and we're going to cut this off. So we've actually done that. Well, probably it's a good idea to make the lining. Let's do the lining, because that's the back, and it's not really the lining, it's the back. But we don't have enough placemat to go on the back.
Okay.
So we actually do have a pattern for this, but it could be any back of any vest that you like. So you're going to sew it together. It's kind of a traditional look. Leave the sides open.
Side seams.
Because that's where we're going to insert the placemat.
Oh, so the side seams
and the
shoulder seams are
and
left
that's, of course,
wherever the front and the back is going to be attached.
Yes, and this is all going to be pulled through.
And you turn it right sides up. Simple.
Yes, simple enough. So then here is the vest. And you can see that little piece that we took off there, we actually fold it and put it up there.
And that's going to give this...
That's going to give, because you see it's not quite long enough.
So you're going to extend it a bit.
Yeah, because they don't make placemats. They're usually a standard size. They're not long enough for vests. They haven't got on the clue yet that we're going to be making them into vests.
And there's no wastage?
No, there's
none whatsoever.
We don't want to be making anything else out of this, because this is it. So we're going to add that piece there. We're going to take this one off here.
Now,
So-
how do you... Okay, then you're going to sew.
Okay, let me just, this is the top here. This is now your lapel.
Okay.
So what we did is, here's your corner, here's that little piece, and we just sort of tuck the edges around like that.
To finish them off.
Stuck it into that shoulder. So there it is, top stitch. That's all you need to do is top stitch across that. Then this is the part that we chopped that off. That was this piece here.
Okay.
And then we just tuck that into the side, that side seam that we left
simple
open.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then put yourself a closure, put a frog or a toggle or something on that. And here is the
Job.
finished one.
Very good job.
Well, I like to dream up things for people who say, I don't sew. I've even met people that said they have no fabric. Can you imagine?
Oh, gosh.
There are
I'd
people
be
out
in
there
counseling.
that don't have any fabric. So I said, well, if you don't have any fabric and,
There's something around the house
here's something you can use. Yeah.
use,
We even
definitely.
fitted this seam a little bit because, if you want
Just
a little
to
bit more.
tailor it in a bit,
So you
yeah.
can just kind of fit it a little bit.
Great
so
idea.
you're gonna, you like that idea? Well, there's another
There.
one.
Is there? Well, I
Yes.
gotta see
So
it.
let's bring our model back again. And this,
Wonderful.
I thought, was quite
Isn't
a
that
nice
so?
idea. So
Oh.
it is just sort of your elegant shawl sort of stole idea. And if it looks like it's all, if you turn around, you see it sort of looks like it's
fun.
all part of this, but
Yeah.
it is actually very, very thin and very lightweight.
Very sharp.
So I thought that could go over an evening dress. It could
right.
go over just, it all of a sudden makes instant glamour out of whatever.
Looks
We
great.
could use it on the parka. We could use it on lots of different things. In fact, I did this one for my daughter for Christmas because I know she could wear this around her waist. She could wear it around her neck. She could wear it
This,
wherever.
so this is some days I wish I was a woman because I love
Because they're
this
so
kind
lovely
of
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't wear this. Well, I could, I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we wouldn't probably like that. But you
And
could
this is-
impress a woman very
Yes,
much.
very much so.
Yes.
And this is what you use.
Yes, this is, and what we think you need is some kind of
look at
textured
this.
yarn.
Right.
And there is a foot on your machine that you can feed this right through, that cording, is it called the cording foot?
I think
you put it right
so,
through that
yeah.
little hole. And this stuff, as long as it's not too thick, if it gets too thick, we can just cut a piece of it, lay it down, and zigzag over it. It's basically...
Now, is this silk?
It's silk. It is raw silk.
Yeah. Very nice.
So it's got lovely textures in it. It's already variegated. It's already there. So we said, okay, let's cut a shawl shape. And here is sort of the shawl shape. And there's no real rules as to what length or what width it needs to be. We did a rolled edge on the serger.
Oh, very nicely done.
So that works beautifully on this. And it is a bridal tool, basically. This is what all the fluffy stuff, the white stuff is, but you never see much black.
No,
but the black is kind of neat. So then how do we get these flowers?
Well, here they are.
Yeah, we decided to use the wool melton.
Oh,
And the
it
wool
doesn't
melton is
fray.
neat because it doesn't fray, and it's not felt.
right.
Felt is a non-woven, and you could sort of take the non-woven and kind of pull it apart. But these ones, so we did them out of different textures, different thicknesses of them, and we just cut them all out. So here we go. Now, how are we going to stitch that on? We thought it would be an awfully miserable thing to go around because this is quick and easy, remember? So if you look closely at this, you'll see that we stitched down, down, and down.
Just to the edges, that's
right
all.
into the edges. Then I thought they needed a little bit of extra oomph, so I put a little sequin in the middle and a bead. So I actually hand-stitched that on. But you could do it by machine, you
That's
could.
right.
But sometimes by the time you get your machine going, and I like to sit around, especially when I'm watching the show. Get it?
That's
Get
right.
it? You could be doing this hand-stitching. So,
Well, this is some.
And then-
I have 4 sisters. I could sew some.
oh,
some
they
of this
would
for them.
love you
Yeah.
for that. This fringe came like that, so you could actually just use this
Very
fringe as
simple
is,
and elegant.
or you could make yourself a fringe out of the yarn. That I did consider making some yarn fringe or whatever, but after I did this one, I thought, well, there could be more of these, because it really does
Definitely.
just sort of go with anything. So it's just kind of an inspiration. It's just kind of a fun thing, and I think hopefully everybody can try one. And
Definitely.
it's sort of
This
a
is-
color,
yeah,
sort of
you
a...
can just add these on any shape.
Yeah, there's
and
no rules.
size.
Yeah.
No. And there shouldn't be, Linda, in
No.
sewing. You know that.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We've been sewing you've been sewing a little longer than me, but...
Okay, thanks, Ron. I've been sewing for a long time. We gotta go. See you next time on So Much, and we'll have so much fun all over again.
To receive the companion book for this series, send $19.98 to the address on your screen or call 1-888-MacPhee.